Well, while this is loading, might as well pour myself some more tea. There we go. Sorry, just sorting a few things out in the background there. So Siam took 10 states, Japan took 19, Germany-East Asia has been annexed. I'm still not entirely sure how they did that, because I'm pretty sure that Germany-East Asia is a puppet. But anyway, they are now going to be able to focus on Insul India. And I can't imagine they will hold out for very much longer. Meanwhile, we have got a combined offensive from the... Who's that again? Oh, Norway. That's a lot of Norwegians. Norway attacking into Finland with Russian assistance. Oh man, naval battles galore. These are the German submarines trying to face off against the British, but the British do have a good destroyer fleet in position, and they are getting... I was going to say they're getting a high screening, but actually they're not. The French destroyers, meanwhile, are getting a really good screening. Fall of Madrid. So Spain is as good as dead. So we are seeing that the Co-Prosperity Sphere is starting to protect their ships a little bit better. Spain has no convoys. Britain again has no convoys and no oil. You're down to just 70? Are you building any? Nope. You're trying to build cruisers. For reasons. Baffles me. Meanwhile, Spain, I think, is getting ready for the grand exodus to Britain before they die completely, which is not going to go very well considering they do not have enough convoys for this. There goes Gibraltar, so I think that all of these troops are just going to get stuck there. Like, as soon as Spain falls and these are on Spanish terrain, gone. So what really needs to happen here is somebody needs to lend lease convoys to Spain, although there is a very good chance they'll just be lost when they capitulate. If Japan occupies all of Germany-East Asia, they get a decision or an event to wipe East Germany and kick GEA out of the Reichspakt. Oh, interesting. Separate peace to allow for a Japan-Germany peace per event. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Meanwhile, my man Ireland sitting here, pretty with more convoys available than any of their allies. Did you lose many of your submarines, though? Oh, that's Sweden. Ireland. I want to know about Ireland. Yes, they're down to just 15. Although that's a loss of only 7 since we last looked. And they are still picking off convoys. Unfortunately, we're playing on an older version of Hearts of Iron, so unfortunately this bug exists where we're only seeing one convoy at a time. But if we go to this tab, and then to this tab, and then to this tab, we can see that they have sunk 158 convoys for a loss of 12 submarines. Lost. Oh, previously. This year, oh wow, they've sunk 783 convoys for a cost of 11 submarines, and they're all the oldest submarines. They haven't lost any of the new ones except... Wait, those must be basic subs. I don't think those are subs. Yeah, those are sub 1s, or sub 2s probably. There goes Spain. So Spain just lost all of the troops that were stuck over there. So they've been losing their sub 2s. They are building sub 3s and sub 4s, and they haven't lost. They lost a couple of sub 3s this year, but have not lost any sub 4s. Do you have any dockyards? No. You have a civilian factory. And the English Channel is still being protected by the RAF, which is a little surprising. If I was Germany, I would dedicate like 200 or 300 fighters to the English Channel, just to make sure you maintain air superiority, then maybe use some naval bombers, just to make sure the British don't use it, and perhaps make it so that they can't repair in the southern coast shipyards. That's another thing you can do, is port strike Portsmouth. That can be pretty effective. Spain is going to Latin America, they're leaving Europe behind. Meanwhile, Irish submarines in the Baltic, causing havoc. Yay, Ireland. Meanwhile, Princely Federation is at war with Iran, as are the Russians. Of course, because they're all co-prosperity sphere. So this... I was going to say seems to be mostly a Russian or an Indian attack, but actually neither side is doing a particular amount of attacking. And I'm frankly astonished that we've not seen the naval invasion of Britain yet from Ireland. I don't know why. Because with the fuel situation that Britain's been dealing with, the combined might of the Canadian Navy and the American Navy should be enough to fend off the UOB and allow that naval invasion to occur. Now the Reichspakt and the Co-Pro will have a front line in the Middle East with India and Russia versus the Bulgarians. True. Japan called in Transamur. Here we go, now the Russians are attacking. Were the Russians waiting for planning preparation? Maybe. In which case, fair dues. And the Indians trying their attacks. They are succeeding slowly but surely, but it's pretty grueling. So there are German heavy tanks just chilling. Are those heavies or are those mediums? No, they're heavies. Just chilling in Spain at the moment. A little bit surprised they've not been sent to the Russian front to try and push these guys back. And Germany pinging like crazy to, yeah, defend against a attack over here, and in fact we've got American troops coming in, so I think that the Entente is gearing up for a war against the Reichspakt very, very soon. I'm still astonished they're doing this before taking the Union of Britain out, because London is a major victory point which they could gain. They would then have to hold it, admittedly, but they're already holding on to Ireland. And so the standoff begins, Germany screaming loudly across the English Channel. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Princely Federation and Siam launching their invasion of Insular India. Not Japan, interestingly. And it looks like most of the Pacific Islands are in the hands of the Co-Prosperity Sphere. It doesn't look like America's really tried to do anything with them yet. Is that still part of Ecuador? Yeah, Galapagos is. They took over Cuba, of course. So it seems that we are now entering the phase of people calming the hell down after the initial wave of attacks. It is July, so it is not the wet season. So I am a little bit surprised that we're not seeing more fighting between the CoPro and the Reichspakt. I would say the Entente will launch an invasion before September. I have a month then. I'm not going to look at them just in case they are planning that, and I don't want to potentially spoil that type of thing. And wow, that's a lot of plane noise. The Germans are now moving the troops out of Spain, having finally remembered that they exist. And I also noticed that the German heavy tanks have gone. And now people are pinging to defend all of the various areas. Princely Federation has been punching into Iran. Russia has tried to push south. And now that actually they got momentum on their side because the Persian units are just so weak in comparison, the Iranian units rather, are so weak in comparison. And they are low on organization. We have a Baltic attack into Kaiserreich, which is succeeding. Oh no. No, it wasn't. They were holding it. Of course, green. I keep forget which faction I'm looking at and then what green versus red means. And this time I was looking from the CoPro's perspective, so green for them is good. Yes, Hawaii is CoPro. Although at the moment they don't seem to have very much stuff here. They have a carrier? Hawaii has one... Do you seriously have one ship and it's a carrier? No. They have a lot more little boats. So many factories does France now have? 73. Britain has 189, 362, 139, 274, 149, 393. Germany is actually nearing the USA in terms of industrial capacity. That's kind of terrifying. 81. So Princely Federation is roughly the industrial output of the French Republic with significantly more manpower. And China has remarkably little industry, still at just 95. Although that's only, what, 12 more, or 12 less than Japan? That's interesting. Siam, 84. French Republic's still smaller than any of them. Even Brazil has more than... French Republic. Australasia? 58. Okay, so Australasia is actually even smaller. That is good to know. Firmly believe the Union of Britain Army hired the Highlanders in defence of Fortress Britain. They let the people on the land on the island only to hear the screaming of thousands of Highlanders charging at them. Yes, possibly. I know this is a very lurkerish question, but I love CK2. Does that mean I would love this game? They are different and obviously set in different timelines, but I would say if you like CK2 and you like the general premise of like grand strategy games as opposed to roleplay or first-person shooters, then yes. This is a lot less character-driven and a lot more strategic, though. This is more about big theatre-wide decisions, as opposed to CK where you're choosing who a specific character should get married to. Are Norway and Russia at war? No. So the CoPro has nothing against the Third Internationale. So at the moment, Third Internationale is mostly just hanging out in Britain. And also Ireland is doing submarine stuff. Oh, now here's a thought. What if the Union of Britain licensed Ireland's submarines? So the USA is currently launching another attack on Iceland. I don't think that pushing everyone onto Reykjavik was the right idea. I think I probably would have done a couple more attacks around and probably tried to hit the rear of Iceland as well and just envelop them. But hey, that's just me. And then just make sure you have your submarines patrolling the seas around so that if anyone did try to send them reinforcements, they wouldn't get through. What'll happen to Transamur? Transamur is on their side already. Okay, Iran. And actually, if you're thinking about Crusader Kings going to Hearts of Iron, I would say it's probably actually, I'm not going to say an easier transition, but a more similar transition to go from Crusader Kings into Europa Universalis 4. So if you like grand strategy, if you like general big map games, then I would say the transition between Crusader Kings and Europa Universalis is smoother than Crusader Kings to Hearts of Iron. And then once you're in Europa Universalis 4, I'd say that everything else opens up. Are Bulgaria and Austria in the German faction? Yes. And in fact, if we go over to the factions map mode, we can see who the factions are at this point. So we've got the Gigantuan Co-Prosperity Sphere, which is basically half of the world's surface. We've got the Reichspakt, which is Europe and a smidge of the Middle East. We've got the Third Internationale, which is Northern Europe. We've got the Entente, which is North America and South America. So it's the Americas and also a large chunk of Africa. If you pay attention, you might notice the blue country in Sweden is not, in fact, Sweden. That is true. Is Finland unplayable, or why is it grayed out? I'm guessing it was the player map mode I was looking at. It's not grayed out. It's just conquered by somebody else at the moment. I'll give it a go. Love the World War II scenario from Civ 2. It's got to be great for me. Thank you, Mordred. Thank you all. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you like World War II, then I would say that you can't really go wrong with Hearts of Iron. The thing then to understand about Hearts of Iron is it's a war simulator, it's not a World War II simulator. Don't expect, like even with historical focuses on, don't expect this to be railroaded World War II game. Hearts of Iron is at its best when there's a little bit more freeform to it. It's your opportunity to say, hey, if Germany successfully invaded Britain in 1942, what would that mean for Barbarossa? And the mods for Hearts of Iron are also really good. Probably some of the best Paradox mods are Hearts of Iron ones. Like this one, in fact. Except for Victoria 2. No, I would say that E4 is also a gateway into Vicky 2. Okay, so this is the fall of Insulindia to the Japanese. Now, if I'm correct, we should have about 15 minutes more of gameplay today. I don't know exactly when we'll stop, because there was quite a lot of downtime from technical issues. I'm just setting expectations. Just because I'm curious. Hey, I'm the biggest Hearts of Iron streamer at the moment. Okay. And in fact, top 1, 2, 3, 4, top 5 streamers today are all this tournament. Nice. Okay. Sorry, I just get curious about things like that. Stats. All about the stats. Alright, back into the game. So now that the fall of... Was that the fall of Insulindia, or is this one of those weird white pieces where Japan says, you know what, I've got enough. We can stop now. Because where are the flashpoints at the moment? Haven't seen very much happening on the Russo-Reichspakt front for a little while. We do indeed have... Oh no, not quite. I was going to say, as soon as these two fall, they're going to have a border with Bulgaria. Austria does have some troops there, so Austria has seen the danger. And then we have a whole bunch of Bulgarians, including those absolutely killer Bulgarian mechanized infantry. These have got to be some of the most dangerous templates I have seen. That is terrifying, especially knowing the fact that they have 100% equipment. With a level 7 commander, level 10 planning. That's an extra 20 planning. Not using... Wait, you are using battle lines. So why are you not getting planning prov? Oh, because none of them are actually... No, you're not using battle lines. And you are using field marshals, so yay. Was it Bulgaria that wasn't using the field marshals? No, it was Germany. I don't get it. I do not get it. There is zero reason not to use field marshals. Like, all of these troops here are getting like half the maximum bonuses they could have. There is no reason not to use field marshals. Even if you don't use battle plans, there is no downside to having them in a field marshal. Don't even have to be in a field marshal that's in their same area of combat. You still get the field marshal's bonuses. Because basically half of their stats are applied to the general. Or something like that. I'm not actually sure of the exact calculation. Plus, of course, no, it's half of their traits. Half of their general traits are applied to the general. And then if it's a field marshal trait, it's the full thing, like Logistics Wizard on Ruprecht von Bayern. That's a really strong choice, especially if you're in, like, Africa, where supply is a problem. Oh, they do have a... Oh no, they don't have the border yet. Iran is actually doing a remarkably good job of holding. Iran has quite a few troops. Are you getting support from anyone? Yeah, you're getting a lend-lease from Middle Africa, Italy and Denmark. So none of the players. 500,000 manpower. And the Russians and the Indians kind of got bogged down in the attack on Iran. Like, to really take Iran out, you've got to do it quickly. Otherwise, you're left fighting through the Iranian mountains. And that ain't fun. Germany just declared war on the French Republic. You have guards, you have guards. So what is Germany hoping to gain from this? Is this just a war from Morocco to take them out? Because this is now going to call the Entente in. Are they going to go? Are they going to go for Ireland? Is that what we're about to see here? And now I really am beginning to feel like the Entente has lost their opportunity to take out the Union of Britain, because now they're going to have to contend with the Reichspakt navies in that area as well. Oh, no, they're probably... Yeah, they're going for Italy. That's what they're after. Although there are a lot of troops here. Mostly French Republic, which is an interesting choice. Declared war on Tripolitania, which is guarded by the Austrians. Who do I think is playing the best at the moment? Ireland. But seriously, it's hard to say. We're in a bit of a passive moment of the game. Like, there's nobody that's using any exceptional, like, tank blitzes or anything like that. Probably Germany is. Although their naval invasion of Britain was half-hearted at best. Here we go. French Navy is facing off against the Austrian Navy. So it looks like a bunch of these convoys are going to be sunk before they even arrive. Haven't seen Canada doing very much. Are they the air controller? Yes, Canada are the air controller almost always. I think we can verify that if we go over to Canada. And then click on this, and you can see they have all the planes. So Canada is the Entente air controller. Ukraine? I don't know who their one is. No, Austria is the air controller for the Reichspakt. Japan is the air controller of the Co-Pro. And I somewhat suspect... I mean, Union of Britain was the air controller for these guys. But Union of Britain's also been struggling more than a little. So these are Canadian submarines going after Austrian shipping. I paused for some reason. I really like Bulgaria's mech. Yeah, those Bulgarian units are terrifying. Like, you put them into an area and that area is not going to fall. The only problem is they probably don't have a huge number of them. Also, all of your units the same colour? How confusing is that? Like, how would you differentiate between your crazy mechanized units and everything else? I guess man with the mustache is the one with the mechanized. Mechanized mustaches. Mustachios mechanized. Meanwhile, Russia getting surrounded by the Iranians and punished for it. Although this is very much a India attack, and India is taking the victory here. They just need to basically get to Tehran and take some of the other minor victory points, and then they'll be doing wonderfully. Meanwhile, the naval battles are heating up a little bit here. Mediterranean has become a battleground all over a sudden. That's the Bulgarian surface fleet. And I'm seeing, yep, some battles going on here. That's Canadian convoys in the Atlantic going up against the Irish submarines, because of course they are. Still no sign of any naval invasions. Meanwhile, the attack into Italy. Who's fighting in that? I can't see that combat result. Weird. Reichspakt should secure Italy and North Africa with little real problem. Their fleet is massive. Possibly. I think that the Brazilians and the Americans will have a fairly easy time supporting the French Republic, although it's just occurred to me that Middle Africa is going to be hostile to them. And French units are having to come down here to guard against that. They're working to take Tripolitania, and we've actually got the American heavy tanks fighting through North Africa. And I should also remind you that the Entente team is probably the most experienced of the various teams in this. So I'm expecting more sneaky play out of them. Although we are seeing a Spanish invasion of Ireland, so Third International is trying to bring Ireland back into the game, and this is a really good move. I would love to have seen this supported by a British naval invasion, which might well be. Although started way too late. I'm kind of wondering at like the quality of swapping of plans in the Third International, because this is not the first time where something seems to be done by like one player and then not communicated to the rest. Meanwhile, the Indian attacks... Oh no, these are... Sorry, I'm seeing this from the Iranian perspective, and it's all green. So, yeah, Iran... Remarkably good defense going on right there at the moment. Why do army generals have increased capacity? Yeah, because they're abusing a mechanic, garrison mechanic. Keep in mind the Entente has no access to the Mediterranean. They do, via France, and they can get their submarines in there, which is why we've seen the Canadian submarines active. And in fact, this would be a good opportunity to say, hey Canada, what exactly are your submarines doing, and who's it led by, and what are you doing here? So the Canadian submarines are indeed in the Mediterranean. It's a dangerous place for submarines to be active, particularly some of these. Oh no, all of this is ocean, which is fine. Adriatic, however, is fjords and archipelagos, and then this is also fjords and archipelagos. Actually, no, Mediterranean's okay for subs. But we can see that the Canadians are getting involved, trying to sink some of the Germans. And who are you using for an admiral? And why are you using the aeroplane icon for submarines? Seawolf, Silent Hunter, Superior Tactician, Concealment Expert. They don't have Smokescreen yet. That's probably the next one I would grab. But they have Silent Hunter and Concealment Expert, and those are the important ones. I actually think that the quality of the Admiral makes more of an impact than the quality of the ship for submarines. At least after Tier 2. Like, Tier 1 subs are never going to hold up too well, but Tier 2 onwards, the Admiral makes a huge difference. Alright, so that's you we've looked at. What about America? Okay, probably switch countries if I'm looking at that. Oh, convoy escort, okay. Like, I've seen so many combat icons, like, why is that? And then they are doing attacks. Chester Nimitz is the submarine commander, apparently, for the Americans. Okay. Then they have Leahy as the main fleet, and then they have a bunch of old cruisers, probably for naval invasions. Because all you need for that are big guns. How did the Commune end up in Sweden? Because they decided, for some reason, when the war broke out, to have all of their heavy tanks attacking Stockholm, and then they just let the Germans roll over them in France proper. It was a bit weird. I mean, to be fair, that moment of great foresight has allowed them to stay in the game. Because they are now just Sweden. And it looks like the French are making a pretty good move to kill all of these guys. That's 12 Austrian divisions completely cut off. And here come the French marine motorized artillery. Are they still motorized artillery? I mean, are they still marines? Or have you switched for something? They are still marines. Why are they motorized? They don't need to be motorized. Just make them regular rocket artillery. I think they can even get a bigger attack if they are. Although I admit, I'm not actually sure about that. So the main thing that would determine rocket damage is actually technology. Because what you have are these. And they do impact the motorized rocket artillery as well, yeah. That's all of them. So the question here would be you, which increases the attack of you by 30%. So you have a soft attack of 38 versus you, who have a soft attack of 36. Oh, actually, yeah, motorized rocket artillery does have more soft attack, but they are more expensive. So that's a production cost of 12 versus a production cost of 5. Twice as expensive for like 30% extra attack. I think I would take the half price and just make twice as many of them. Because both of them are going to take 3 slots in the unit. Oh, got a desync. Alright, well, that's going to be it for today then. So we're going to miss the last 6 minutes, but honestly, I don't think that anyone's going to make any major moves, because that would give their opponent overnight to check save games, because unfortunately that's a thing in these multiplayer games. Definitely one of my pet peeves. Like, don't check multiplayer game saves. You just, wow.
Oh, hey Mordred, there's still 2 games ongoing, if you'd like to point people that direction before you head off.
Sure. Are they going to be good? Oh, yeah, of course, they go on for an hour longer, don't they?
Man who's hosting right now, and then Grisha is playing in Game C.
Oh, I'm going to go and raid Midge, I think, seeing as he's one of the other observers.
Alright, I'll talk to you later.
Yep, see you later.